Buzz, that was utterly terrifying, and I regret having joined you.
Lightyear's already hit the theaters, and we already hit them too. We couldn't wait to watch what is bound to become an instant Pixar classic if everything goes well with the public. And as controversies and receptions around the movie keep evolving and changing, we're ready to bring you all the secrets you missed in Lightyear. Warning, there's a lot of spoilers ahead, so you better go and watch the movie and come back and discuss its secrets with us. Are you ready? Let's go to infinity and beyond.
To infinity.
Are you trying to get me to pull your finger?
Don't fall for it.
No, not like that.
If something is clear about Buzz's character is that Pixar not only managed to create an iconic character both for Toy Story and for this movie, but the fact that they also created one hell of a toy. If the old version of Buzz sold millions and millions of toys and apparels of all kinds, this time kids are gonna be delighted because this Buzz is reloaded. The design team at Pixar worked hard on creating as many details as possible for this iteration of the character. They thought about everything, from the legendary wrist communicator Buzz uses to record his famous mission logs to the glorious winged backpack he deploys in the final minutes of the film to help the Junior Patrol's re-entrance to the planet in an unstable ship. He also has his laser cannon in the right wrist, and boy does he use it against Zurg. We're sure it was a delight for fans around the world to see him using this super cool gadget in a real combat situation, but it doesn't end here. They also gave the Space Ranger suit a couple of upgrades, a Star Wars-esque plasma knife that really looks dangerous and effective, and that we see them use several times in the movie, a fantastic stealth mode that makes the wearer of the suit invisible for a brief period of time and gets activated pulsing one of the iconic buttons on the chest, and an emergency defense mechanism called the surrender string. But we better not talk too much about it because you know that's a shameful maneuver for a Space Ranger. Buzz Lightyear is a committed man, a trained Space Ranger, a relentless and disciplined man who would drop anything to serve the Space Rangers Corps and complete the mission. But in the beginning of the film, we also see his biggest strengths are his greatest weaknesses. He is so confident in himself that he doesn't like to be a team player. He won't accept help when he's offered, and he will act egotistically from his self-important place. All of these negative consequences of his personality are the cocktail that leads him and the mission to disaster. Buzz refuses to use autopilot and insists on maneuvering the giant main ship manually. He refuses to work his help when offered and ignores the warnings from the ship's computer, eventually crashing it in a last-second miscalculation. Now Buzz has to deal with the unusual need to finish the mission and the guilt of having caused the demise of all of his team and the people in the giant ship. He has to learn to play part of the team once he finds himself all alone against the new and unknown threats, and this is a path he has to follow towards his personal growth. Did you notice how Buzz instantly tries to keep a recorded log of all of the events he's in? At first glance, this is a throwback to the very first apparition in Toy Story when he lands in a strange planet. That is nothing more than Andy's room. Well, the toy's insistence on keeping this log comes directly from the real Buzz Lightyear characters we clearly saw in this film. As soon as he starts exploring the terrain with Hawthorne, she catches him dramatically narrating every step of their exploration. The funny thing about this is that even though he looks really serious and professional while recording his mission logs, he knows nobody will really pay attention to them. And when Hawthorne tells him this, he solemnly declares, "Narrating helps me focus." So we can finally understand a bit more about Buzz's mindset during a mission and see deeper into the character. His sense of professionalism is what's at stake in every narration, and we can see him doing this not only in the first scene of the movie. He actually does it in most of the cumbersome situations, such as running away from enemies or even in the middle of a fight. That's a consistent personality. The first time Buzz completes a test travel trying to reach hyperspeed is the only time we see one of these test flights from beginning to end. Upon arrival, we see something's off since Garcia looks a bit different when he receives Buzz on the ground. That's when Hawthorne and Eric explain to him the concept of time dilation, which makes him travel 4 years and a couple of months for every 4-minute test flight around the star. And that's when Buzz learns that Hawthorne is engaged to her girlfriend, and this time will only increase every time he gets closer to hyperspeed. So let's count the test flights we get to see in an intense montage that quickly shows us how different the time passes for Buzz and for Hawthorne, who remains on the planet. The second time he flies back and finds Hawthorne pregnant, but Buzz is resolved to completing the mission and gives Socks the assignment of solving instability in the formula of hyperspeed crystal. In every new travel he makes, we see some new details that show how time is passing for the people on the planet. He meets Hawthorne's 4-year-old kid. Garcia receives him as an old man. Hawthorne shows her first gray hairs. Buzz encounters Hawthorne's kids graduating, presumably as a space cadet. Hawthorne becomes an old woman with full gray hair and glasses, and when she takes Buzz to her house, she and her wife are celebrating their 40th anniversary and their kid is all grown up and has a wife or girlfriend. And finally, he comes back to an empty office only to find a pre-recorded holographic message of Hawthorne saying goodbye before dying. She becomes a grandmother and lived a long and happy life. We get to see a total of 8 test flight missions, and Buzz fails in each one of them. Since the crystal is never ready, Socks then reveals to him that 62 years, 7 months, and 5 days have passed since he started traveling. You may or may not have heard about the controversy surrounding Lightyear, but it has played a huge part in how the movie's been received by audiences around the world, and sadly, it seems to be having a profound impact on the box office. As the movie presents an LGBTQ+ couple in Hawthorne and her wife, conservative audiences have really gotten mad about the movie, planning to boycott it by not taking their kids to see that. As a matter of fact, the movie has been completely banned in 14 countries around the world, which are mostly Muslim-led, since they are, by a matter of religion, radically opposed to this kind of relationship and their portrayal on mainstream media. The most controversial scene is the one where Alicia and her wife are celebrating their 40th anniversary and briefly kiss each other on the lips. Disney, in defense of LGBTQ+ rights, decided to ignore requests from all around the world to eliminate this scene and change the nature of Hawthorne's character. As of today, the company seems to be dealing with the backlash of this decision. We recommend you go and see it for yourself to understand how there's nothing wrong with showing how people can engage in different forms of love and start non-traditional families without this being anybody else's problem. Remember, everybody has the right to love and be loved. Kudos to Disney for standing their ground on this one. The big reveal of the movie is the evil man behind the giant robot known as Zurg is Buzz Lightyear himself, or at least a version from an alternate timeline. Nobody was waiting to see this, that's for sure. People were more bound to accept something around the version of the story being established in Toy Story 2, where Zurg declares he's Buzz's father. Even Buzz seems to believe so in the movie, but this wasn't the case here or even in other adaptations of the character. When Zurg robot finally opens and he sees the man inside, Buzz asks "Dad?" but the man responds "Guess again" and proceeds to explain his origin. This was at most shocking for everyone who was expecting to see the origin of the "I'm Your Father" reenactment in Toy Story 2.
You killed my father!
No, Buzz. I am your father.
But we need to keep in mind to understand this retcon is that maybe they were just joking when they included that bit in Toy Story 2 as a funny way to pay homage to Star Wars Episode 5, The Emperor Strikes Back, where Darth Vader reveals exactly the same to the young and troubled Luke Skywalker.
I am your father.
But hey, don't get too busy thinking about the end right now, because we have another video coming very soon where we'll analyze all of this in detail. Do you want to see our video explaining the end of Lightyear? Were you as excited about this movie as Andy was when he saw it as a child? Let us know in the comments down below. Run to the theaters to watch this beautiful movie if you haven't seen it yet, and come back if you want more Lightyear content. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn those notifications on so you don't miss a single Lightyear video.
It's not my fault!
Bitácora espacial. Me he despertado.